Today's question comes from basically staring at global debt charts at 3 a.m. If every country is in debt, who exactly do we owe? Is there like one final boss accountant? Short answer, no. Long answer, yes, but he's made of spreadsheets and disappointment. Every country borrows money. They borrow from citizens, banks, companies, pension funds, foreign governments, and anyone with extra cash and questionable judgment. The United States owes money to Japan. Japan owes money to its own citizens. China owes money to Chinese banks. And France, for some reason, owes money to France, which feels like borrowing your own charger and charging yourself interest. A lot of this confusion comes from hearing the phrase global debt is 120% of global GDP, which sounds terrifying until you remember GDP is not a limit. It's just how much economic stuff we make in one year. Debt is basically the world borrowing from the world. So who's the creditor? Let's investigate. Imagine the world as a giant group project worth $100 trillion a year. Now imagine the group collectively owes $300 trillion. That means for every $1 of global economic activity, there's $3 of IOUs floating around. Now, take a single U.S. Treasury bond, let's say the classic $1,000 note. That bond might be held by a Japanese insurance company, an American retiree, a hedge fund run by a guy named Brent, a Chinese reserve fund, a nervous college student who thought bonds were like stocks but calmer. Zoom out, and global debt is just a huge web of money constantly being lent, relented, and rolled over. In fact, about 60% of all government debt worldwide is held domestically. Yes, most countries owe themselves, which sounds ridiculous, but mathematically checks out. But here's where it gets fun. What if we treat the entire planet like a closed physics system? Let's imagine every bond, loan, mortgage, treasury note, and IOU is stacked into one giant pile. The total is roughly $300 trillion, or $300 billion. 30 million stacks of $10 billion. Enough money to buy every Starbucks latte for the next 1,200 years. 1.5 Earths made of solid gold. Now take all the world's assets, land, buildings, companies, machines, crypto wallets full of regret, and you get around $1,500 trillion. So debt is not the planet being in the red. Debt is the planet borrowing from its own giant pile of assets. It's like you owe yourself $20 because you moved it from your left pocket to your right pocket, but refuse to acknowledge they're part of the same pants. Who's the final creditor? Here's the annoying answer. There is no final creditor. Debt is a relationship, not a villain. But if we absolutely must pick one, the ultimate creditor is anyone who has savings, owns bonds, invests in banks, contributes to a pension, has insurance, or stuffs cash in a biscuit tin under their bed. Meaning, statistically, you are part of the final creditor. Congratulations! You are the shadowy global financial puppet master you feared all along. So if every country is in debt, who is the global creditor? All of us, mostly by accident. We created a worldwide system where everyone owes everyone, but nobody can point to the one person we owe it all to. Except maybe Brent. He's definitely involved. If you really want to panic, consider this. What if every country tried to pay back all its debt at once? Want that episode next? Then hit like button and comment yes.